in your gob.
Yeah. I'm going to stand a little bit.
Hello. Apparently I'm a TERF. Don't know how that happened. But I've realised that all you really need to do to be a TERF is to comprehend the reality of material reality of sex, and to be willing to say so. That's it. That's all it takes. I became a TERF in 2019 when I saw what inclusion in women's sports looked like. A male weightlifter who identifies as a woman, Laurel Hubbard, on top of the podium at the Pacific Games. Samoan teenager, Begega Stowers, came second that day. Stowers is a survivor of male violence. She took up weightlifting as part of her rehabilitation while she was living at the Samoa Victim Support Group. Stowers was so good, she won the Commonwealth Games in 2018. Hubbard was injured. But she was beaten at the 2019 Pacific Games by a male with all the biological advantages that confers, who was born into a wealthy family and who competed against and took places from women. Begea's story tells the real world consequences of gender identity trumping all else, including race, class, and specifically sex, because this is a one-way street. Inclusion only benefits men, or male athletes, I should say. Hubbard ended up qualifying for the Tokyo Olympics along with two other male athletes who competed in women's competitions, but no female athletes competed in men's events. What a shocker. Instead, 3 women missed out on competing for their countries at the Olympics because 3 men said they felt like women, and their sporting federations and the IOC said, well, alrighty then. And I have 2 things to say about testosterone suppression. One is it doesn't work. It doesn't negate the male physiological advantages acquired at puberty. And 2, the idea that if a male athlete takes performance-inhibiting drugs, his performance can become as bad as a woman's is about as sexist as it gets. Women are not testosterone-deprived men. We're not seeking to erase anyone, and we're not participating in genocide. We are arguing against the amorphous and unverifiable concept of gender identity, replacing the material reality of sex in law and policy. We are arguing against the abolition of sex. And what does the abolition of sex look like apart from sports? Abolishing sex allows male criminals to be referred to as women in the media and legal system. Abolishing sex prevents vulnerable women from being able to access single-sex spaces like change rooms, toilets, and rape crisis centres when they need them. And the reason they need them is male violence. Abolishing sex disallows lesbians from excluding males from their spaces and sees lesbians described as sexual racists when they refuse males as sexual partners. Because if men can be women, then men can also be lesbians. Abolishing sex means that disabled and elderly women cannot choose a carer of the same sex for their intimate care. Abolishing sex enables fully intact male prisoners to be housed in the female prison estate. And prioritising gender identity over sex results in children believing that if their gender identity doesn't match their sex bodies, then they might have been born in the wrong body, and they may need to be medically corrected. Greatly overrepresented in this fast-growing patient cohort are gender non-conforming kids, gay, lesbian and bisexual young people, traumatised and abused children, children in care, and children on the autism spectrum. In every country that a review of the evidence supporting paediatric affirmation transition has been carried out, the medical affirmation model has been abandoned. We need to do this here too. Call me old-fashioned, but I do not believe that gender non-conformity needs fixing. So if you have a problem with any of this, as I do, I've got some bad news for you. You might also be a TERF. Thank you. Oh,
well done.
Yeah.